Hello and welcome to the heliosblog. My name is Helios. Today we're going to talk about how it's possible to play the game correctly and still lose. It's time to teach you an important aspect of the real world. We can optimize our behavior all we like, but chance is a factor that's impossible to ignore. It's entirely possible to play the game entirely correctly and still lose. I'm here to tell you that that's okay. On we go. Enjoying my content? Check out my blog at heliosblog.com. On YouTube, you can support me by liking and subscribing. I'm also on Spotify if you'd prefer a podcast. If you're interested in my books, The Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By, they're available on Amazon. In addition, you can follow me on Patreon at theheliosblog for exclusive content. On with the show. Life is a game. You need to remember that life is a game. Just like in games, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. It's perfectly alright to lose once in a while. Even the best of us lose once in a while. It's a huge problem if you're constantly losing. The majority of the time, this implies you're doing something incorrectly. If you lose occasionally despite making the correct moves, that's no problem. You can rest assured knowing that you're making optimal plays. An important aspect of life is to play the game correctly. As I've mentioned in previous posts, it's extremely important to play the game of life correctly. You need to make decisions constantly in life, and you need to make sure that the decisions you make are aligned with the long-term goals you have in mind. Make sure that you're always thinking about your long-term goals as you make decisions. How will the moves that you're currently making impact your long-term goals? If your moves are not aligned with your long-term goals, you're going to have a bad time. Your interactions with women are no different. Think about how your reactions to her shit tests and other behaviors will impact your long-term goals with women. Are you likely to maintain your friends with benefits by following the plays you're making, or are you signaling something else? Your moves matter. Make the correct ones. Chance is a normal aspect of life. Once you're sure that the moves you're making are correct, as evidenced by your results at whatever you're doing, understand that chance is a part of life. No matter how correctly you play, you're still likely to encounter failure, rejection, and sadness. You need to understand that by playing the odds in your favor, you're extremely likely to experience happiness and positive outcomes in the long term, and that should be your goal. It doesn't matter how many battles you lose if you win the war. Even though you make the correct plays, you can still fail. Despite making the correct plays and doing everything optimally, due to chance, you're going to fail. Accept that failure and rejection is part of life. It's okay to fail so long as you do not let the failure destroy you and you know that you're making the correct plays for the long term. There are a multitude of reasons why you might have failed, none of them your fault. If you know that you're doing things correctly, any individual failure should roll off your back. It doesn't matter, you'll succeed in the long term regardless. Reasons why you might have failed despite making the correct plays. With women, there are all kinds of reasons why you might have failed. Here's a few. Number 1, she was never interested in you, only your attention. Number 2, she's sick. Number 3, she's tired. Number 4, she had a bad day at work. Number 5, someone else annoyed her. Number 6, she had a previous bad experience with someone that looked like you. Notice how none of these are your fault. If you get rejected despite doing everything right, it's very likely that some external reason was the issue and not you. Don't worry about it. Move on to the next girl and rest assured you'll be fine in the long term. Stoicism. Stoicism is an amazing philosophy to have. It encourages men to stay strong in the face of adversity. Life is full of punishment, failure, sadness, and rejection. That's okay. Experiencing punishment, failure, sadness, and rejection do not make you inferior, they make you human. If you're doing everything correctly and you get rejected once in a while, that is life. You wouldn't enjoy seduction, for example, if it worked every time. Control the things you can control, leave everything else alone. Ultimately, you need to internalize the Stoic idea of controlling what you can and leaving the rest alone. You cannot control everything and you'll drive yourself insane trying. Control your actions, behaviors, and beliefs. Once you have those things under control, understand that not everyone is going to like or appreciate you for who you are, and that's okay. By controlling the things you can and leaving the rest, you'll optimize your happiness and outcomes in life. We ultimately didn't get to choose the life that we were born into, but we can adapt to it and overcome. Results of living a tactical life. As a result of living a tactical life, you'll be able to maximize your happiness over time. You'll understand that it's possible to fail despite making the correct moves, and you'll press on undaunted regardless. You'll be a juggernaut, able to take on the world, unworried about the random times that you fail. Make the correct plays and watch how much your life improves. Conclusion. It's possible to make the correct plays in life and still fail. That's alright. When you know that you're making the correct moves, it's alright to fail once in a while. The failures are likely not your fault and happen despite your best efforts. Failure is alright once in a while, but if you let failures defeat you and you abandon your tactical approach to life, you'll never experience true happiness in the long term. Be judicious in your choices and strive for excellence.